What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. So Viktor, this is the League of Legends champion from Zone I am going to be covering today. So he is the Machine Herald. Looking at this image here, I wonder who he is breaking out. By the looks of it, he's breaking someone out of prison. No doubt in Zone as well. So what am I going to do today? I'm going to go through his bio. I'm then also going to go through his story. I'm going to rank and review his skins as well. He has a very old spotlight, so I'll probably go for the official abilities on the League of Legends website. He doesn't have a login theme that I can find, and also any special interactions. But what I will do is I'll probably go through his skin spotlight for one of my favourite skins in the review. So yeah, anyways, I'll time the whole thing as I always do. So yeah, without further ado, let's kick things off with the bio. So the bio is the Machine Herald. The herald of a new age of technology, Viktor has devoted his life to the enhancement of humankind, and based on episode 3, it's quite a short life that's soon to come to an end by the looks of it as well. Unless an idealist who seeks to lift people to a new level of understanding, he believes that only by embracing a glorious evolution of technology can humanity's full potential be realised, and that's what he was kind of hinting at in the first couple of episodes. I think the fact that he's dying as well is going to push that forward even more. With the body augmented by steel and science, Viktor is zealous in his pursuit of this bright future. Viktor was born in Zone on the borders of wherever that is, the Entrestron level, so maybe that's the sump, and encouraged by his artisan parents, discovered a passion for invention and building, which we saw as well in episode 6, maybe. He devoted every waking minute to his studies, hating to interrupt his work even to eat or sleep. Even worse was having to rapidly relocate if there was a nearby chemical spill, accidental detonation, or incoming chem cloud. Abandoning his work even for a short time was anathema to Viktor. Yeah, anathema. Okay, in a bid to impose a level of order and certainty on his world, Viktor researched Zone's many incidents or accidents and came to realise that almost all of them were the result of human error, not mechanical failure. He offered his services to the local businesses, developing inventions that made them far safer working environments. Most turned him away, but one, the Fredersian Chemforge, took a chance on this earnest young man. Viktor's inventions in automation reduced the number of accidents in the forge to zero within a month. Soon other establishments sought his work, and Viktor's designs became common in Zone, improving production with every innovation that removed human error from the process. Eventually, at the age of 19, he was surprised to be offered a place in Zone's prestigious Academy of Techmaturgy. But Viktor's work had attracted the eye of Professor Stanwyck of Piltover, and this is where we get now, don't we? Who convinced him to leave Zone and travel to Piltover's academy itself. There he could work in the most advanced laboratories and gain access to all resources the City of Progress could offer. Thrilled to be singled out, Viktor accepted his offer and took up a residence in Piltover, where he refined his craft and sought to perfect his theorems in ways that would benefit everyone. So, Viktor worked with Piltover's best and brightest, including an insufferable genius named Jace. Okay, tiny nasty with Arcane. The two were equally matched in intellect, but where Viktor was methodical, logical, and thorough, Jace was flamboyant and arrogant. The two worked together frequently, but never truly became friends. Often the two would butt heads over their perceptions of intuition versus logic in the process of invention. But a level of mutual respect developed as each saw the flawed brilliance in the other. In the midst of his studies in Piltover, a major chem spill devastated entire districts of Zone, and Viktor returned home to offer his help in the rescue efforts. By grafting a sophisticated series of cognitive loops upon existing automated technology, he crafted a custom-built golem, Blitzcrank, which we found out a little bit about in maybe a couple of weeks back with Blitzcrank, to help in the cleanup. Blitzcrank was instrumental in saving scores of lives and appeared to develop a level of sentience beyond anything Viktor had envisioned. Now I wonder if we're going to see Blitzcrank in the Arcane series. I guess I'm going to say no, but it would be pretty cool to see him. Even with the spill contained, Viktor remained in Zone to help those afflicted by the released toxins. With the golem's help, he attempted to use the technical brilliance to save those whose lives had been blighted by the spill. Their attempt was ultimately unsuccessful in preventing more deaths, and the two parted ways. Though Viktor was distraught at the loss of life in Zorn, the work taught him a great deal about the merging of human anatomy with technology, and how mortal anatomy could be enhanced with technology. Okay. So I wonder if it's going to mention anything about his condition as well. When Viktor returned to Piltover weeks later, it was to find that Professor Stanwyck had held a symposium on Blitzcrank and presented Viktor's research as his own. Oh, the snake. Viktor lodged formal complaints with the masters of the college, but his impassioned claim that he had designed Blitzcrank fell on deaf ears. He turned to Jace to verify his claims, but his fellow student refused to speak up, further widening the rift between them, and the matter was decided in Professor Stanwyck's favour. Bitter but resigned, Viktor returned to his studies knowing that his ultimate goal of making people's lives better and enhancing humanity was more important than one stolen project and a bruised ego. Okay. He continued to excel, finding ever new ways to eliminate human error and weakness from his work. A facet of his research is that came to dominate his thinking. He saw human involvement in any part of the process as a grossly inefficient aberration, a view that put him at odds with great many of his fellow students and professors, who saw the very things Viktor sought to remove as a source of human ingenuity and creativity. This came to a head during a reluctant collaboration with Jace to improve the diving suits used to keep Piltover's docks clear of underwater debris and lingering chemical waste. Okay, Viktor and Jace's enhanced suits allowed the wearer to go deeper, remain underwater for longer, and lift heavier weights. But many wearers claimed that they saw phantom corpse lights in the depths or suffered from chem-induced hallucinations. Okay, when divers experienced such symptoms, they panicked and often got themselves or their fellow divers killed. So, Viktor saw the problem was not technical, but with the wearer's nerves unravelling in the inky depths. He devised the chem stunt helm that allowed an operator on the surface to bypass the wearer's fear response and effectively control the diver. A heated discussion between Viktor and Jace on free will and mental enslavement turned bitter, almost violent, and the two vowed never to work together again. Jace reported the incident to the college masters, and Viktor was censored for violating basic human dignity, though in his eyes his work would have saved many lives. He was expelled from the college and retreated to his old laboratory in Zorn, disguised by the narrow-minded perceptions of Piltover's inhabitants. Alone in the depths, Viktor sank into a deep depression, enduring a traumatic period of introspection for many weeks. He wrestled with the ethical dilemma he now faced, finding that once again human emotion and weakness had stood in his way. He had been trying to help to enhance people beyond their natural capabilities to avoid error and save lives. Revelation came when he realised that he too had succumbed to such emotions, allowing his naive belief that good intentions could overcome ingrained prejudice to blind him to human failings. Okay, Viktor knew he would not expect others to follow where he did, so he did not go first, So in secret he operated on himself, to remove those parts of his flesh and psyche that relied upon or were inhibited by emotion. Okay, that's a little bit deep. Okay, when the surgery was done, almost no trace of the young man who had travelled to Piltover remained. He had supplanted the majority of his anatomy with mechanical augmentations, but his personality had also changed. His idealistic hope to better society was refined into an obsession with what he called the glorious evolution. So now he's lost the plot. Viktor now saw himself as the pioneer of a Lauren's future, an idealised dream where man would renounce flesh in favour of superior hex-tech augmentations. This would free humanity from fatal errors of suffering, though Viktor knew it was a task that would not be completed easily or quickly. So I can see what he's trying to do, but the steps that he's taken are warped, and also, that's the main thing, it's free will. Maybe people don't want to do that. He threw himself into the great work with a vengeance. He used technological augmentations to help build Zornites injured in accidents. See, he's doing a good job to a certain extent. Perfected breathing mechanisms and worked tirelessly to reduce human efficiencies by decoupling physicality from emotion. His work saved hundreds of lives, yet seeing Viktor's help could be dangerous, as his solutions often brought unexpected consequences. But if you were desperate, Viktor was the man for you. So in Zorn, hearing fragments of his philosophy and seeing the success of his work saw him as a messianic figure. messianic figure. Sorry. Victor couldn't care less for them, viewing their quasi-religious cult as an aberration, yet another reason to eliminate emotional whatever that is, and the belief in which could not be empirically proven. So, this is pretty long actually, isn't it? So, where did we go? Okay, after a toxic event in the sump saw hundreds of men and women in the factory wood transformed into rabid psychotics, Victor was forced to use a powerful sporific to sedate the victims and bring them back to his lab to try and undo the damage. The toxins had begun to eat away portions of their brain. Nice, but Victor was able to slow the degenerative process by opening up their craniums and employing machinery to slow filter their bloodstreams with poison. You can see it now. The technology available to him wasn't up to the task, and Victor knew many people were going to die unless he found a way to greatly enhance his purgative machinery. As he fought to save these people, he detected a surge of in-hextech energy from Piltover and saw immediately that this could give him the power he needed. He followed the powerful energy to its source, Jace's lab. Okay, so he in essence becomes Vidor in the first episode. So, Victor demanded Jace hand over the source of this power, a pulsating crystal from the Shuriman Desert, but his former colleague refused, leaving Victor no option but to take it by force. Of course, he returned to Zorn and hooked the strange crystal to the machinery, readying a steam golem host for each afflicted person in case their body gave out under the stress of the procedure. Empowered by the new crystal, Victor's machines went to work, and gradually the damage from the toxins began to reverse. His work would save these people in a manner of speaking, and had Victor retained more than a fragment of his humanity, he might have celebrated. As it was, the barest hint of a smile was all he allowed himself. Before the process could complete, a vengeful Jace burst in and started smashing the laboratory with an energized hammer. Knowing an arrogant fool like Jace would never listen to reason, Victor ordered the automations to kill him, which I kind of read about in Jace's bio, I think it was, or his story. I like how we get both sides of the story and their interpretation of it as well. The battle was ferocious and only ended when Jace shattered the crystal Victor had taken, bringing the entire warehouse down in an avalanche of steel and stone, thus ending the existence of those Victors were trying to save. And for this, Jace returned to Piltover, feted as a hero, but I guess to Victor a murderer, I am imagining. Victor escaped the destruction of the laboratory and returned to his mission of bettering humanity by ridding it of the destructive emotional impulses. In Victor's mind, Jace's impetus attack only proved the truth is his cause and strengthened his desire to unburden humanity from the feelings of flesh. Victor did send chemcheck thugs to raid Jace's laboratory not long afterwards, which we read about, which was one of my favourite stories actually. This was Victor told himself, not for revenge, but to learn if there were any more shards of the Shuriman crystal he could use for the advancements of mankind. The raid was unsuccessful, however, and Victor thought no more of Jace. Instead, he intensified his efforts to find ways in which humanity could be shepherded beyond their emotional weakness and brought into a new, more reasoned stage of their evolution. Such researchers sometimes transgress the boundaries of what could be considered ethical in Piltover and Zan, but they are all necessary steps in bringing about Victor's glorious evolution. Okay, so that is the bio. Nice to see the contrast between that and the previous ones from Jace. I like how they're tied in there as well with his bio and also his story. And to a certain extent, I can kind of empathise with him. His heart's in the right place, but he's not considering other people's free will, and that's the kind of contrast between him and Jace as well. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to move on to his skins. Let's go. So this is Victor's skins. This is his base skin. The herald of a new age of technology, Victor has devoted his life to the enhancement of humankind, an idealist who seeks to lift people of Zorn to a new level of understanding. He believes that only by embracing the glorious evolution of technology can humanity's full potential be realised. With the body augmented by steel and science, Victor is zealous in his pursuit of the bright future. So like I was saying before, I can understand his motives for doing what he's doing, but it's a little bit off-key. But anyway, this is his base skin. Yeah, once again, I wonder who he's trying to save, or maybe what he's trying to steal. Who knows? But clearly he's doing something there, or teching something, and that is his base skin. So the next one is Full Machine Victor. So this is if he went full hog. Created from the same circuitry as the Full Metal Champion, okay, which we saw as Jace skin. Created from the same circuitry as the Full Metal Champion Jace, Victor was cast into the tunnels beneath the robot fighting arenas to serve as a janitor bot, which once again ties in with the whole Arcane Arcane series, where Jace is the golden boy and Victor's kind of forgotten about, even though he does technically half the work and he's half the contribution to their success. He's forgetting about. He's the one that no one wants to recognize. Kind of the same thing here. While his twin was groomed, there we go. While his twin was groomed for glory, simulcast en Espanol, upgrading himself with the cast-offs of the destroyed, he has sworn la vengeance. Okay, so I guess, okay, I don't know why it's in Spanish. He's sworn vengeance. So yeah, maybe this is what we're going to see, obviously, in the series as well. Okay, cool. I'll have a look at that. Next one is Creator. So, the creator, let's go there. The creator of the Battlecast machine army, Victor has perfected the art of transplanting living brains into low-tech mass-produced weapons. As you do, but his work is far from complete, and even now he tinkers on newer, deadly creations to crush all who oppose him. So, this is Creator Victor, yeah, like that. I like how he's Creator Victor, but he looks so sinister as well. I'm feeling the red theme as well throughout the whole thing, and the skull mask as well. Then we have this one, which, yeah, let's just be clear. This is my favourite one. Psyops, leader of the rogue military known as the Black Rose Group. Victor is a psychic, whatever that, techomancer, whose vision for a utopian world was abandoned when he suddenly departed High Command decades prior. Obsessed with an alien gate uncovered during the Arctic Ops event, his experiments into human bioweapons would allow him to breach it and upend the global order. Can you imagine a series covering Psyops, the Psyops law? Can you imagine how epic that would be? That would just be yeah, mad. So, next one is Prototype. Okay, no law there, but Prototype Victor. Okay. One after that is, Death Sworn. On a cold, dreary night, a pioneering inventor was tried and hanged for preaching his glorious visions of the future, a world in which the living knelt before the dead. Death had to admire Victor's conviction and sent him back into the mortal world, blessed with powers beyond his imagination. Wow, that's interesting. Kind of like a Spawn-like lore there as well. But okay, loving the look on that one as well. Okay. So that is that one, and unfortunately, that is it. So he doesn't have that many skins actually. So if I was going to give you my favourite three, number 3 would have to be Creator Victor. That would be number 3. This is pretty close actually. But yeah, number 2 would have to be Death Sworn, and number 1 has got to be Psyops. It's just everything about the whole Psyops skin. Like the Project skin is just so good. And yeah, a Psyops based series, kind of similar to Arcane. Sign me up, that would be so good. Anyways, they're my top 3 skins. What I'm going to do now is, since he doesn't have a login theme, let's get rid of the advertisements. Since he doesn't have a login theme or any special interactions, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go through his abilities and then I'm going to go through his story. Let's go. So, Victor the Machine Herald, difficulty is high and role is mage. So this is his passive, Glorious Evolution. Victor can augment his abilities when he gets kills on enemies. So kind of similar to, what's he called? The bug from the Void. I forgot his name. Anyways, you know what I mean. So his Q is Siphon Power. Victor blasts an enemy at unit dealing magic damage, gaining a shield and empowering the next basic attack. Augment Siphon Power shields is increased to 60% by 60%, and Victor gains bonus movement speed after casting. Okay, yeah, this is the one I'm quite familiar with. Gravity Field. Victor conjures a heavy gravitational field that slows enemies in its radius. Enemies who stay within the dice fight for too long are stunned, and the upgrade, Victor's non-periodic spells also apply in essence a slow to enemies as well. This one is the Death Ray. Victor uses his robotic arm to fire a chaos beam that cuts across the field in a line. I've got a sneaky feeling we're definitely going to see this in Arcane. Dealing damage to all enemies it hits in its path, and the upgrade, an explosion follows the Death Ray's wake, dealing magic damage as well. And his ultimate is Chaos Storm. Victor conjures a singularity on the field which deals magic damage and interrupts enemy channels. The singularity then periodically does magic damage to all nearby enemies. Victor can redirect the singularity. Argument, the Chaos Storm moves 25% faster. Okay, cool. So that is his abilities. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to move on to his story. Let's go. So his story is called House on Emberfilt Alley. Okay. So, Victor's third arm emitted a thin ray of light that welded metal into his left arm with steady precision. The smell of burning flesh no longer bothered him, nor did the sight of his left wrist splayed open. Veins and sinewy muscles fused with mechanical arguments. He did not wince. Instead, he felt a sense of achievement gazing at the seamless blend of synthetic and organic materials. The sound of children shouting gave Victor pause. Rarely did anyone venture down the fog-bound confines of Emberfilt Alley. He had chosen this location for the very reason he preferred not to be interrupted. Keeping his left arm immobile, Victor adjusted a silver dial on his iridoscope. The device contained a series of mirrored lenses that angled light to allow him to view a full view of the street outside his laboratory. Several children were violently shoving a malnourished boy towards Victor's wrought iron gates. "I doubt Nap will last a minute in there," said a girl with imitation gemstones embedded above her eyes. "I bet he comes back with a brass head," said a boy with a shock of red hair. "Maybe then his brain won't be dull as the grey." "You better return with something we can sell, or we'll be the one to give you a new head," said the largest one, grabbing the small boy by the neck and forcing him forwards. The other children backed away, watching. The young boy trembled as he approached the towering gate, which screeched as he pushed it open. He passed the front door encrusted with interlocking gears and shimmered through an open window. An alarm bell as he fell to the blared, as he fell to the floor. Victor sighed and pressed the switch that quieted the ringing. The skinny boy stared at his new environment. Glass jars containing organic and metal organs floated in green fluid lined the walls. A leather gurney stained with blood, upon which lay the mechanized drill, sat in the centre of the chamber. Dozens of automations stood motionless against every wall. To Victor, his laboratory was the sanctuary for his most creative and vital experiments, but he could imagine it might seem frightening to a child. You think? The boy's eyes widened in shock when he saw Victor at his workbench, arms splayed open on the table. He ducked behind a nearby crate. "You will not learn anything from that box, child," said Victor, "but on top of it you will find a bone chisel. Hand it to me, please." A trembling hand reached the top of the crate and grasped the handle of the rusted metal tool. The chisel slid along the floor to Victor, who picked it up. "Thank you," said Victor, who wiped off the instrument and continued work on his arm. Victor heard the boy's rapid breathing. "I am replacing the twisted flex tendons, the broken mechanism in my wrist," Victor said, reaching into his arm to adjust a ball. "Would you like to watch?" The boy peered his head around the crate. "Does it hurt?" said the boy. "No," said Victor. "When one eliminates anticipation and fear of pain, it becomes entirely bearable." "Oh, it also helps that my arm is completely mechanized. See for yourself." The boy stepped away from the crate and sat across from Victor without a word, eyes fixed on his arm. Victor resumed welding a new bolt drive onto the tendons beneath his skin. When he had finished, he sealed the flaps of dermis onto his arm. He drew the beam of light across the seam, cauterizing his flesh and fusing the incision. "Why did you do that?" the boy asked. "Didn't your arm work fine as it was? Do you know what humanity's greatest weakness is?" "No," said the boy. "Humans occasionally ignore the endless infinity of possibilities in favour of maintaining the status quo." "Kind of true." The boy gave him a blank stare. "People fear change," Victor said. "They settle with fire when they could have exceptional. Fine, should I say." Victor walked to his stovetop. He mixed a blend of dark powder and upper cream into a saucepan, heating the liquid with his laser. "Would you like a glass of sweet milk?" said Victor. "A weakness of mine, but I have always enjoyed the acid flavour." You're not going to saw off my head and replace it with a metal one?" "Ah, is that what they think of me now?" Victor asked. "Pretty much," said the boy. "I heard one kid had theirs replaced just because they had a cough." "Did you get this information directly?" said Victor. "No, it was my neighbour, Burr's cousin or uncle or something like that." "Ah, well, in that case, would replacing someone's head even get rid of a cough?" asked the boy. Now you were asking the right question," said Victor. "No, I imagine it would not be much of an upgrade. Coughing stems from the lungs, you see, and to your earlier point, I am not going to saw off your head or replace it with a metal one, unless of course you want me to." "No thanks," said the boy. Victor poured the thick liquid into 2 mugs and passed one to the boy, who stared longingly at the hot drink. "It is not drugs," said Victor, and took a sip from his own mug. The boy gulped down the sweet milk. "Are the others still watching outside?" said the boy through stained teeth. Victor glanced through the iridoscope. The 3 children were still waiting by the front entrance. "Indeed they are. Do you wish to give them a scare?" Victor said. The boys lit up and he nodded. What's he going to do? Victor handed him a sonophone and said, "Scream as loud as you can into this." The boy gave an exaggerated, blood-curdling shriek into the sonophone. It echoed along Emberflit alley, and the other children jumped in terror, quickly scattering to hide. The boy looked at Victor and grinned. "I find that fear is more often than not a limiting emotion," said Victor. "Tell me something that scares you, for example." The Gebauers. The Gebauers are fear because they project an air of dominance and often the threat of violence. If no one feared them, people would stand up to them, and then where would their power go? Away. Exactly. Think of how many Gebauers exist compared to how many people live in Zone. It's true. Fear is used by the powerful to control the weak because they understand how fear works. If someone can manipulate your emotions, they can control you. Breach. "I guess that makes sense, but I'm still afraid of them," said the boy. "Of course you are. Patterns of fear are carved deep into your very flesh. Steel, however, has no such weakness." Victor retrieved a vial containing minuscule silver beads floated in milky fluid. "This is where I may be able to assist," he said. "I have developed an augmentation that eliminates fear altogether. I could let you try it out for a short time." "How short?" "The implant will dissolve in 20 minutes. "You're sure it's not permanent?" "It can be, but not this one. You might find that without fear, your friends out there lose their grip. Bullies feed on fear, you see, and without it, they will starve." The boy nursed his drink, considering the offer. After a moment, he nodded to Victor, who inserted a thin needle into the vial and injected one of the silver beads into the boy's skin behind the ear. The boy shuddered for a moment, then he smiled. "Do you feel your weakness failing away, Victor?" Victor asked. "Oh, yes," said the boy. Victor walked him to the door and twisted a dial to unlock it before waving him out. "Remember, you can always return if you wish a more permanent solution." A wave of fog created a ghostly silhouette around the boy as he emerged from the laboratory. Victor returned to his workbench to watch the experiment through his iridoscope. Emberflit Alley was empty, but as soon as the boy walked out, his companions emerged. "Where's our souvenir?" asked the redhead boy. "Doesn't seem like little Nap has held up his end of the deal," said the girl. "Guess we have to punish him," added the large boy. "We did promise him a new head today after all." "No, you touched me," said Nap. He raised himself to his tallest height. The bully reached for Nap's neck, but Nap turned and punched him square in the face. Blood streamed from the bully's nose. "Grab him," the bully screamed, but his companions were no longer interested in grabbing him. Nap stepped towards the bullies. They stepped back. "Get away from me," he said. The bullies eyed each other and then turned and ran. Victor closed his iridoscope and returned to his work. He stretched the fingers of his newly repaired arm and tapped them on his desk in satisfaction. Do you know what? This story and also the one for Jason have been some of my favourites so far. And once again, this shows a lighter side, if you can call it a lighter side to Victor, that he has a good heart, even though maybe he doesn't technically have a heart anymore. And I understand what he's saying with the aspect of emotion. I just think that it's his way or the highway, so to speak. But I like how they humanised him, showed that he's obviously he's willing to stand up for the person, the underdog in essence. And also, this child's understanding certain aspects of what maybe Victor learned early on as well, that the weak in essence control everyone else through fear. So yeah, that was really good to read. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to finish off with the skin spotlight for the Psyops skin. So let's go. Yeah, it's such a good skin, isn't it? It's such a good skin. So okay, this is a little 360. I like it. I like it. And he's what's that? Number 5, is it? Because if I remember correctly from the Psyops lore, they've all got different unique numbers. Is Sona number 1? I think Sona's 1. Okay. You've got to love his dance. It's one of my favourites actually. Love it. I love it. His and Vladimir's are my favourites. Evil Love. Cool. Now for the recall. Oh, okay. Tight. Okay. Little cape, flex as well there. Okay. Yeah, I like his dance. And yeah, recall's decent. To be fair, my favourite part of all skins is the recall. I think because you get so much unique animation from it. But, okay. Oh, nice. Nice. Okay. I think we get the idea of that now. Now for his death beam. Yeah, I like the colour of it. Yeah. I love how it's jet black with the colour on the outside. Oh, and this is his ultimate. Cool. Now for a little combo. Oh, okay. So it fires an individual beam to each enemy within that. Yeah, okay. In that area. Like it. There's the combo. Nice. Okay. Now he's death. Okay. And then the rest, I imagine, are just chromas. Let's see. Yeah, the rest. Wow. Okay. The rest are just the chromas as well. So that was good. Hopefully you guys actually enjoyed my thoughts and reaction to everything. To everything regarding Viktor. It's good now. I've been through Viktor, I've been through Jinx, and I have also been through Jace. Probably next week I need to go through Vi now just to round off the whole thing regarding the Arcane series. But really good, really good to go through his story and also his bio as well. Nice to see the interaction between his and also Jace's as well. And on a side note, I really do like Viktor as a character as well. I like him based off what I've read here. And more importantly, I really like him in the Arcane series as well. One of my favourite characters, really. So yeah, I think I'll leave it here today, guys, in this one. And yeah, I will see you in the next one.